Again, I'm a weirdo. Being a weirdo means I have to seek out my people, my audience, my mentors, and my collaborators, because they aren't just everywhere. It also means I have to follow my nose, even if I'm not sure why my nose is leading me in that direction. And when I meet people who grew up with siblings, I learned that they had to do things like coming to consensus. And I realized that all my time spent alone as an only child means that I don't often think like other people. And the crowning grace of that was my mom, Janet Cheatham Bell. Because when she heard me say things like, I feel like I don't fit in. I feel like I'm different than everybody else. She would say, good. March to the beat of your own drummer. That's Henry David Thoreau, that's not my mom. Although she's big on quotes. Her next quote book comes out January 24th. I had to say it, it's true. Okay. That's true, January 24th. All of that is my way of saying briefly, briefly explaining how I went from being a stand-up comedian, comedy fan to a stand-up comedian to the director and executive producer of We Need to Talk About Cosby. Thank you. Throughout this thank you. I said you were gonna clap here, but you didn't. Okay, it's fine. Throughout the production of this series, one question would periodically come up in my head. Whose idea was this? It was a way to remind myself that no matter what difficulty or challenges or unexpected surprises that came up, that this was indeed my idea. I could only blame myself. It was comforting. I'm a weirdo. When I think about this project, I can't help but be grateful for all the people who surrounded me from the beginning of the spark of the idea through this very day. People who understood that I would need to be given space to figure this out, time to step away when I needed it most, and to be held accountable for deadlines and decisions when the clock demanded it. I also needed people who understood what was at stake with the project, and maybe most importantly, people who allowed me to pursue ideas or tangents or seemingly unrelated threads. To me, the most important thing a producer can do is say, I'm not even sure I understand what you want or how it is even possible, but I'm gonna do my best to get it for you. And then there's all the unpaid labor with every project in this business. My wife, Melissa, had to surf the wave of this thing and served as a producer without the producer title. She was the one who watched an early cut and knew she could say, I see where you're going, but it's not there yet. We need to hear more from you. Why are you doing this? I know why, but the viewer needs you to be more vulnerable so we can understand why you care so much. I can't look at it right now, it's gonna be bad. The next version of this film began with a line of VO that scared me to say out loud, my name is W. Kamau Bell. I knew that simple line would firmly put me in the crosshairs of the inevitable pushback, but honestly, this is where I belonged in this project. It was my idea in the first place. And the other reason I knew that Melissa and others who had similar notes were correct was that by putting myself at the head of this, I would hopefully take some of the heat off the brave women, the women who I believe are survivors of sexual assault and rape from Bill Cosby. Every time I would get caught up in a moment of ego about how hard this all was on me, the ghost of Harriet Tubman would visit me and say, oh, this is hard for you? Talking about hard things is hard for you. I would think about all the incredible sacrifice these survivors were making just by showing up to talk to me. In COVID, by trusting me with their stories,